don't know what this is. So, welcome to the video, I guess. I don't really know how people start these. Starting with a hello feels very formal. Feels like I'm, you know, at a business meeting or something. I don't know. Do people do that at business meetings? I've never been to a business meeting. I don't know what one is like. But hi. Yeah. Let's go, I guess. Recently I had like a girls' day out, just to kind of unwind a bit, you know. Me and Kirsty went for a little wander around a museum. We also had some tea, which I couldn't help but include. We saw some poorly taxidermied animals. And then we sat and sketched for a bit in the museum. I started off using oil pastels, which I'm not really very good at. I don't really know how oil pastels work, as you can probably tell. But I think it was a fun sketch in the end. A little seagull. Hopefully the way that I've edited the way I was sketching is okay. I know they're not the best shots, but I was setting things up pretty quickly. I was just trying to go. Yeah, I switched to doing pencil, and then I do some watercolors in a minute, which I wasn't really thinking about, but you're not allowed to use paint in museums generally. But I just wasn't in my head. I hadn't thought about it, but the staff that came over to be like, hey, you can't do that, was super nice and let me finish my painting. So that was appreciated. But yeah, it was fun. It's really weird actually to be outside sketching. You'd think I'd be used to people watching me paint by now, but no, still strange, still weird. I'm used to it when I'm outside, but actually being in a museum was strange. It was strange. I'd have people like looking over my shoulder, and I was trying really hard not to pay attention to them. Or I'd have like a kid walk past and then see their parents dragging them off. But it was good fun. It was good fun. I started a new sketchbook in this video as well. I mean, you guys don't know this because you haven't seen my other sketchbooks. Maybe I'll show them off at some point, but I'm pretty bad at finishing sketchbooks in general. But I tend to get too tied into aesthetics or tied into like one specific media, and then find it really difficult to continue it after I've gotten out of whatever phase I was in when I started the sketchbook. And so with this one, I wanted to start it and just right away use a bunch of different things, get some different vibes in there to begin with. And I think that's helped. I think this sketchbook is just gonna be just for me. I think just for me. Are you mad at the birds? Are they existing wrong? Oh, really? Oof. So, after my little girl's day out, I went up to a nearby park, and I saw a bee, which was very exciting. I saw my first bee of the year. And then it rained on me quite a lot. But it was patchy showers. There was a lot of rain and then it would let up, and so I thought I'd power through and deal with it. And then I went and found a picnic bench and I set up there and just decided to sketch some of the stuff that I could see looking around, which was pretty fun. I didn't really go out with any plans, again, because I'm trying to have this sketchbook be just for funsies, just for me. And so maybe I'll do some more videos sketching in it. Maybe when I finish it, I'll do a look through and we can see how eclectic my sketching is when I don't have a theme. I don't know if I'll put characters and stuff in it. Maybe I will, who knows. I'm allowed to. I was about to make a rule, but I'm allowed to do what I want. This is my sketchbook. But I imagine like a lot of artists will relate to that, where you start a sketchbook, you have plans, and then as soon as something goes wrong, the like urge to use that sketchbook kind of goes away a bit. And so I know for me at least, having a rule that there are no rules is helpful. If I go into something knowing that this is just my sketchbook that's actually sketchbook and not aesthetic and pretty, because I think a lot of art YouTube, at least for me, at least the stuff I tend to see, they do have these just incredibly aesthetic, beautiful books, and I'm always so jealous, and then I feel really let down about my own work. But it's a sketchbook. It doesn't need to be pretty. If you have a sketchbook for the sake of making it pretty and that's what you want to do with it, then great. But at least for me, the point of a sketchbook is to experiment and to try new things. And so that's what I'm planning to do with this one. I want to try some gouache in it. I think that would be fun. I think maybe I'm going to take this one away with me. And it will be my go-to travel sketchbook until I finish it. Because I think as well, setting the no rules rule will hopefully mean I'll actually get it finished. And I think it'll actually be a fun look through at the end when I finish it, to see what I'm painting, see if that changes, or see if I've by accident stuck to a theme anyway, which I think might happen, but we'll see. And then I did some sketching first in this spread, I guess. But then I had this big space left and I was like, maybe I'll just, it's raining anyway. I've got the watercolors out. Why don't we just go for it, blob some shapes in? And so that's what I did. And it was fun. I was painting some gorse in this bit, which if you don't know, it's got lots of tiny little yellow flowers. And then lots of these sort of it's a very pretty green, in my opinion, little spiky bits. And it always makes me think of home, because we had a lot of these around my house growing up. And it would be one of the first flowers that were kind of out at the beginning of the year, so I have very fond feelings around this spiky, mean plant. I think a lot of birds nest in it as well, so it was good to see it. It's nice. It was a nice park. There was a lot of different types of foliage to paint, which was nice. It's kind of sad when you go to a park and it's all samey, in my opinion. It's nice to see different things around. And there were lots of birds as well. I could hear them. Could I see them? No. Absolutely not. Anyone who knows a lot about birdsong I don't know if it'll be too quiet in the background, but if you can recognize any of them, it'd be fun to know. Fun to know which birds were taunting me as I sketched. It's funny how much more comfortable I was sat out in the middle of a park with, in all honesty, I was more art vloggy, I guess, when I was out here, because I had my camera like properly set up. I say camera, it's my phone. But I had that like on a tripod, and which I did not do a good job of hiding in the shots. I'm very sorry to anyone who's good at filming things, good at framing, because I was just going speedy. This was supposed to be a low effort first try at a video, which it was, and I think given the amount of time that I was able to spend on this and the knowledge I had going into this, I think it's not bad. I've never used editing software before, I've never really tried to film stuff, so I think it worked okay. And then I saw some magpies, and it was so lovely. They were just playing around in front of me. The video I got was when they were a bit further away, but they came really close. And I got to film them, which was really nice. And then I immediately dropped what I was doing and started sketching. I was trying to get them before they flew away, because they were playing and they were throwing bits of grass and stuff around. I think I drew that at one point. One of them playing with like some moss or something. And it was just really nice. I know magpies get a kind of bad rap, right? Like I don't know if they're considered pests anywhere, but they're not super well loved in a lot of places. But I just think they're such interesting little creatures. And it makes me really happy when I see them out and about, because they're always doing something interesting. And I almost always see them in pairs as well, which I think is lucky. I can't remember what the bad one is. I think you don't want to see one on its own, right? Something like that. But I saw some crows fly past me, and they just had such like a distinct shape. It's the kind of shape that you would see in a kid's book and be like, that's not the shape that they actually are. But they really were. They were just this sort of like blobby little guys flying by. It was good fun. It was nice seeing the birds. I think if the birds hadn't come past, I was getting pretty cold at this point. My hands were struggling a bit. I think if the magpies hadn't shown up, I'd have probably gone home a little bit sooner, but I'm glad that they did. It was nice to see them. And it was good fun just to get to like sit and sketch with some watercolors, which I don't use a ton anymore. I do tend to use them a lot if I'm just trying to sketch an idea down. It's funny because before this year I hadn't really used watercolors much. In fact, I would have said that I didn't really know how to paint at all. I don't think the sketchbook is the best indicator of me being able to paint now, but I've definitely gotten a lot more comfortable with at least what I want to use watercolors for. The super realistic, lots of layering techniques are still sort of mind-boggling to me, but I think that's just because I'm not very patient. It's actually the problem. But I do really like using watercolor to sketch. I think it's such a versatile medium because you can get pretty opaque colors if you layer it a couple times, or if you're just a little bit lighter with the water. I guess you tend to get pretty opaque colors, which can actually be really nice. But you can also, I like the way that you can kind of mix and layer things. It's something I've been missing in my digital art, is being able to kind of drop colors in and have them spread out a bit. I know that Rebelle is supposed to be good for that, but I think learning a new art software when I could just paint it traditionally sort of doesn't make sense in my head. Maybe I'll eat my words and I'll try it at some point and love it, but at least for now, I guess it's just something that I'll have to paint traditionally for. It was nice to be able to just go out and sketch. I hadn't realized how much I missed that or how much I enjoyed that until I was able to do it a bit more. But between all of the sort of the busyness, it's nice to be able to just slow down for a bit and sketch some little guys doing their thing. I know that there's a few places where there are pretty long pauses. There's a lot of ums in this video. If anyone wants to start a counter, be my guest. But I'm not gonna edit the voiceover for this too much. It's just supposed to be a sort of a rambly hello, I guess, to set the tone for what I imagine this YouTube channel is going to be, which is just my shenanigans. Much like this sketchbook, this YouTube channel, it's just for me. And for you, but it's just for me, you know? It's just a place to experiment and try things out, I guess. And thanks for joining me. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. And I hope that you have a lovely week, whether you're beginning or ending it with this video. And yeah, maybe I'll see you again.